In this video, I'll show you how to easily make your own marshmallow fondant using only 4 vegan ingredients. This means that these ingredients are not derived from animals. If you're new to my channel and interested in ways to be creative with your cake decorating, be sure to subscribe for more tips and tutorials. And if you're ready to take your skills to the next level, check out my cake decoration beginner's guide, which is linked in the description below. So let's get started. The main ingredient is marshmallows. Here is a 10-ounce bag of Dandy's vegan marshmallows that are vanilla flavored. They contain no corn syrup, no gluten, and most importantly, no gelatin. We'll also need water and powdered sugar. It may be helpful to sift the sugar to remove any lumps. You'll see why later in the video. And finally, we'll need a small amount of solid white vegetable shortening. If you don't have access to shortening, you may use coconut oil instead. Coconut oil melts very quickly, and just a little bit of this oil goes a long way. An optional ingredient is the coloring. I really like this coloring because it's allergen-free, vegan, halal, and kosher. And it blends beautifully into my homemade fondant. We'll also need a large microwavable bowl, a flexible spatula, a 1-cup measuring cup, and a 1 tablespoon measuring spoon. I start by pouring the bag of vegan marshmallows into the bowl. Next, I use a measuring spoon to pour 4 tablespoons of water over the marshmallows. Next, I microwave the marshmallows at 30-second intervals. Here's what the marshmallows look like after about 1.5 minutes of being microwaved. These are my marshmallows after 2 minutes of being microwaved. To loosen the marshmallows slightly, I add 1 more tablespoon of water before microwaving for another 30 seconds. Here's what the marshmallows look like when they're completely melted. You may also use a double boiler to slowly melt the marshmallows. In total, it took about 2.5 minutes to melt the marshmallows in the microwave. The next step is to add 1 cup of powdered sugar to the melted marshmallows. I'm gently combining the two to start. The next step requires clean, dry hands. This is where we're going to get a bit messy. I pour another cup of powdered sugar directly onto my clean work surface. And then I place the contents of the bowl on top of the sugar. Next, I use my hands to knead the powdered sugar into the fondant. At certain points, you may notice that the fondant is still very sticky, like this. Don't worry, continue to knead the powdered sugar into the fondant until it is no longer sticky. And here I add in 1 more cup of powdered sugar. Kneading the powdered sugar into the fondant completely took about 20 minutes. When the fondant started to feel more like store-bought fondant, I applied shortening to my hands to prevent the fondant from sticking to my fingers as much. The fondant still felt a little sticky, so I worked about 1/2 cup of powdered sugar into it. In total, I used about 3.5 cups of powdered sugar. So you'll notice that there are a few lumps in my fondant, and that's because I purposely did not sift the powdered sugar. Sifting the powdered sugar ahead of time will minimize these lumps. But if you get these lumps, don't worry. They will disperse the more that you continue to knead and handle the fondant. To store the fondant, I covered it in a thin layer of shortening. Coconut oil works as well to prevent the fondant from drying out. Next, I wrap the fondant in plastic wrap. This fondant can be stored at room temperature for a few weeks. If you live in a hot and humid climate, this fondant will keep best in the refrigerator. Once the fondant is made, the color can be kneaded into it. If you notice cracks and elephant skin texture as you're working with your fondant, this means that it is a little too dry. Simply use a finger spray bottle to mist some water over the fondant. Here I've sprayed 3 times. Continue to knead the fondant until it's pliable and smooth. For long-term storage, consider placing the wrapped fondant into a plastic storage bag with a zipper or pressure closure. Don't forget to crumb coat your cake with regular or vegan buttercream before covering your cake with the fondant. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button below. For more cake decorating tips and tutorials, subscribe to my channel to be notified when I upload the next video. As always, thanks for watching.